Hi everyone. Today we bring you to our weekly insight on Google Earth and Civil 3D workflow. So where I would like to cover some map tools to create and extract the project boundaries in the form of KML and shape files. So without wasting much time, I would like to introduce Capricorn, which is a Win0 company. We are having a legacy of over 3 decades with global presence in 4 continents. We provide software technology support covering from entire building conceptualization stage to the operation and maintenance and demolition phase till demolition phase. So our services include consultancy, training, implementation, and exceptional technical support. Myself, Mohammad Abid, working as solutions specialist at Capricorn Technologies, New Delhi. I'll be presenting you with today's weekly insight. So in this particular video demonstration, I would like to cover the basic coordinate system which which entire world used to work on. Later after that, I would like to cover the creation of project boundary in Google Earth and extracting Kml file from Google Earth and importing that Kml files in Civil 3D for next workflow. And also I would like to cover basic project setup in Civil 3D and importing that Kml files in Civil 3D and extracting project boundaries out of it. So without wasting much time, I would like to switch to my Google Earth screen. So everyone know entire Earth has been divided into number of grids, right? The horizontal and vertical has been given having its own naming convention with a in alphabetical and numerical order, right? So in India, not in India, I should say, in world most commonly used coordinate system is UTM WGS 1984, right? Even our Google Earth, Bing Map, most of the map service providers refer this particular coordinate system. So even in Google Earth Pro, we have UTM WGS 1984 coordinate system. If I select Google Earth, you can see the entire Earth has number of grids, horizontal and vertical grids. In horizontal grids has its naming convention with numerical value and vertical with the alphabetical value, right? So if I zoom at any particular area, you can see the coordinate grid number, which is 43, and the grid number in grid alphabetical name, right, which is R. So here in this particular zone, we are referring to 43 rth grid, right? So same way, if I zoom somewhere in Telangana region, you can see the grid is 44 NQ, right? So similar way, when I refer the coordinate system, I am concerned with the grid number, which is 43 or 44, 42, 41, whatever it is, and the direction where I was measuring or where I was creating it, right? So let's suppose if I zoom a bit more, you can observe has been located from 42 till 47, I should say, right? 46 or 47, I should say. Yeah. So in this particular zone system, only we have our India located, right? So what I will do, for this particular demonstration, I will zoom one of the region in Rajasthan. In order to create project boundary, I'll zoom to any of the village. Let's suppose this is the area where my project has been located, right? So what you can do, either you can create your points, then create your path, or else I can directly create my polygon from here, right? So I'll use my add polygon option. If you want, you can name this as project boundary, because as I'm in conceptual stage, I'm not concerned with the accuracy of project boundary, right? If you already did survey, you have your project boundary created in it, like in CAD environment. You can convert that CAD environment, CAD boundary to a KML file and import that in Google Earth Pro for more better accuracy. But as of now, I'm in preliminary stage. I'm not I'm like, I don't want accurate project boundary. So for that part, I'm using this polygon option. I'll name this as project boundary. And I'll click the location where my project has located, right? So let's suppose it's starting from here, somewhere here, moving from here to here. coming back to here, something like that, right? I'll do double press. Now I'll click OK. Right, before pressing OK, if I go to measurements, you can see the perimeter and area as well. So my project is located somewhere around 0.2 square miles. I can convert this to square meters, which is 742.892 square meters. And if I switch to hectares, which is around 74.3 hectares, right? Even in for perimeter, you can switch the value of unit system, right? So as of now, I'm not more concerned with the area. I just want to show one more part. I'll click OK. Now a project boundary has been created. If you can see on left hand side, a name has been created with the name of project boundary, right? So now what I will do, I have a place created in Google Earth. So now I'll go to file option. So within the file option, I have an option called save, right? So I'll use my save my place as option, and I'll export it and save it as KML or KMZ format. I'll repeat this step again. Save place as KML or KMZ. So by default, it's going to select KMZ. So you can select KMZ and click OK to save that particular project boundary, right? So now this is the typical workflow around to create project boundary in Google Earth and extract its KML file. Although if you want to import same KML file in Civil 3D and work way around, so for that part, I will switch back to my Civil 3D software. So this is the typical interface of Civil 3D. So here we have multiple workspace settings. Now I want to be in Civil 3D workspace setting. So I'll turn off tool space palette because I don't require this. So I'll close that part. Now I'll switch to tool space palette. Within tool space palette, I have an option called setting, right? I'll switch to settings tab. Here you have an option called drawing one. So what I was trying to do is, so if you remember in Google Earth, as I said earlier, we are referring one particular coordinate system over here, which is UTM-WGS 1984, right? So same way, uh, in Civil 3D as well, we have multiple coordinate system. By default, it does not refer any coordinate system, although we need to define one of the coordinate system to import that KML file, right? So in order to set up your coordinate system, or I should define your coordinate system, what you can do is click on drawing, do a right click and click on edit drawing settings, right? So when you do edit drawing setting, a window is going to be pop up, right? So as I mentioned earlier as well, there's like UTM WGS 94 is most widely used coordinate system. Although we have our country specific coordinate system, you can refer any other coordinate systems as well. But for this video demonstration, I'm referring UTM WGS 1984. So I'll go and select coordinate system as UTM WGS 84 data. And I'll define the zone as 43 and I'll press enter. When I did that, you can see over here a new tab has been appeared with the name of geolocation, right? So what it actually means, whenever your file has been geo coordinated, you will get geolocation option. When I click on geolocation option, there is an option to turn on and off the maps, right? So just to reconfirm the things, I'll select drawing and do a right click, click on edit drawing settings to check the coordinate system which has been defined. So which is UTM 84 43 and okay. So now what I will do, I'll click cancel. So there are two ways. What you can do is either you can import a KML file in it. In order to import KML file, you can use map import command to import the same KML file which has been extracted from Google Earth, right? So because we are in conceptual or preliminary stage, I do have a preliminary level of project boundary. I'll select that KML file which has been extracted from Google Earth and I'll import that KML file in Civil 3D. I'll click on desktop. I think I have saved that workflow in over here. And if I switch back to Google Earth KML. I'll select my KML file. I'll click OK. Right. Now you can see it had a coordinate system defined in it, UTM-8443N. Although if you are not defining coordinate system in Civil 3D, no coordinate system is going to be appear over here, right? So by default, input coordinate system is LL84. We need to match the coordinate system to the current drawing settings. Then only the data is going to be imported perfectly. So most of the time, if you are not defining coordinate system and if you are clicking OK, like without having any coordinate system, it's gonna target wrong coordinates, right? So we need to make sure that we are defining proper coordinate system, then only import that particular KML file. Now I'll click OK to import KML boundary. I'll use my Z enter, E enter, which is zoom extend. You can also go with Z enter, E enter, or you can go with ZE enter. So when I did ZE enter, you can see a project boundary has been imported successfully. Now what I will do, I'll select this project boundary. And I'll switch to map off option and turn on it to map aerial. Right. When I did map aerial, it was asking you to download the map data. So now Autodesk had partnership with Autodesk has direct integration with Microsoft. It's going to refer the online map system is going to refer Microsoft Bing Map, and the online data is going to be downloaded automatically. So I'll press yes to download the data. Or depending upon your internet speed and processing, the image is going to be appeared in the background, right? So now you can see my project is located somewhere in Rajasthan. Rather than map aerial, I'll switch to map hybrid because uh, so that I can, get the place name, road names, and etc. So my project is located somewhere in Rajasthan, and the coordinate system is 43. So I should say KML file has been imported successfully at required project location, right? After that, importing of KML file, what I want to cover. So if we are in detail survey, right? I already have a project boundary. Let's suppose I'll use my rectangle command. This is my project boundary. Let's suppose, right? Few surveyor did the survey and they have identified the coordinate system. They have identified the project boundary as this much, right? So now other way workaround. We did preliminary survey level from Google Earth to Civil 3D. We have imported the file. Now you have detailed survey that has been marked in Civil 3D, or I should say AutoCAD. How we can extract the KML file from Civil 3D to import that in Google Earth. For that part, I'll select my project boundary. I'll use my for that part I'll use my map export command, right? So two things you should be taken care. Your before doing this executing this command, coordinate system need to be defined. So by default I have already defined my coordinate system as UTM-43N. So I'm using map export command without defining the coordinate system. So we need to make sure that coordinate system has been defined, right? So I'll use map export command to export to run the command. So later I'll define the path at somewhere in solar workflow. Yeah, I'll save this file over here with the name of project boundary, probably project boundary C3D with the name of C3. I should name this as C3D project boundary, right? So what I will do, I'll go to file of type. I'll define the file type of KML or KMZ, right? I'll click OK to execute the command, right? I'll click OK to execute the command. Now I have to either I can select all because there is only one boundary. You can do that, or else you can go to select manually and select that particular project boundary manually and press enter. Right now you can see one object has been selected. When you do select all, automatic selection is done. When you select manually, one object, whatever the objects you have selected, that object is going to be selected, right? So I'll go to options again. I'll use my treat close polylines as polygons, and there's one more option. So by default we are referring 8443N. That's the coordinate system which I defined, and it was referring to WGS 1984. I'm okay with that. But any point of time you want to convert the coordinate system from UTM to any other country specific coordinate system or any other format, you can convert the coordinate system from here itself, right? Right now I'm okay with that part. So I'll click OK to execute the command. When I did that, one object which is selected has been exported, right? So if just for the further clarification, I'll switch back to File Explorer window and I'll go to desktop. Somewhere over here, project boundary has been extracted. Project boundary, C3D project boundary, right? Similar way you can extract either in KML format or you can extract in KMZ format. This KML KMZ format can now be imported in Google Earth environment. I'll go to, in order to import that particular KML file which has been extracted, what I will do, I'll go to file, I'll click on open and I'll go to file, this file which has been extracted. I'll click open to import the project boundary, right? You can see the rectangle area which has been created. So that's how you can create and import KML files from Google Earth to Civil 3D, Civil 3D to Google Earth. I hope you guys had an insightful session. Also, we shall be coming back with next weekly insights on capturing existing site condition in real world context. So feel free to reach out us for any query, suggestions, a topic you want to discuss. We would be glad to hear from you. See you next week. Thank you.